Hey guys, it's Izzy again, and it's Saturday, so you know what that means. It's match day reviews. Manchester City have just beaten Fulham 5-1, and guess what? Nobody's surprised. While another story was unfolding in Stamford Bridge, which we will talk about in another video, Fulham were dismantled without Manchester City really needing to look impressive or do anything impressive in the game. I watched the first half of this game, and for what it's worth, up until it got to 3-1, it seemed like a relatively competitive game. Fulham tried to hold the same shape that they did against Arsenal, and that just didn't work out. Manchester City are a force that at the moment cannot be reckoned with. And I always say that whenever they have the bit between their teeth, Manchester City are the best team that I have seen since Pep Guardiola's all-conquering Barcelona team of 09, 10, 11, in and around that period. And while Fulham did try to offer the odd attacking threat in this game, for large parts, it just seemed as though Manchester City, all they needed to do was click into gear and possibly get a third. And once I saw the third goal go in, I thought the better story was developing at Stamford Bridge, and I tuned out. And guess what? The game ended 5-1. I watched the last few highlights of the last couple of goals, and they seemed pretty routine. Manchester City are going to be a problem for the rest of the Premier League because at this point, Arsenal do not look very cohesive. Manchester United have not been playing well. Liverpool are still trying to build their midfield and try to reassess their attack. So Manchester City seemed the most stable out of all the top 4 or 5 teams in the league. Tottenham are looking impressive, but they are also under new management, and we don't know whether this is just a new manager bounce or whether they will genuinely try to attack the title. For them, what they probably want is a top 4 run. And so that just leaves Manchester City clear. And going into the international break, what better than to thrash the team that held your closest rivals to a 2-2 draw by beating them 5-1. At this point, Manchester City are just looking formidable. Now, once the Champions League gets underway, maybe we can try and assess just how strong City are. And you can't really count on the group stages because, in my opinion, they got a very good group. I don't want to call it easy because all those teams fought for their ability to get into the Champions League. And so you might get the odd surprise or the odd difficult game here and there. But Manchester City are well set up for at least the front half of the season. And that was my fear with Arsenal dropping points so early against Fulham, because you can see just how efficient they are in breaking down teams. A team that held the same Arsenal away at the Emirates to a 2-2 draw was easily dismantled 5-1, and City did not have to get out of third or fourth gear. So the most important thing for the chasing pack right now is to try and hang on to City's coattails, whether it be Arsenal and whether it be Liverpool, who last week had a tremendous comeback that's going to give them some confidence to attack this season. And at this point, I just don't know who is able to dethrone City. My hope is that it's Arsenal, but they are looking very formidable. That being said, Haaland, always gets his customary goals. Foden and the likes of Kanji and Ake all looked good in this game, and Fulham did not offer that much of a threat. It was easy, plain sailing for City. And that's all that could really be said for right now. We can't really do much. City are just that good. And sometimes you just have to hold your hands up. And speaking of the fact that they're doing all of this without Kevin De Bruyne is worrying for the league. And their introduction of Doku, who seemed pretty stable on the left-hand side, is going to bode well for Manchester City. The likes of Kovacic, they know the league. They know how to control the game very well. So it's going to be tough. But fingers crossed that eventually somebody from the chasing pack, maybe a couple of them, maybe Arsenal and Liverpool, will get it together and try to halt this juggernaut that is Manchester City. But that's all I got for this game. If you guys enjoy this content, which I hope you will, please go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button that's right down there. I promise you will not regret it. And we will go ahead and maybe look to the Newcastle and Brighton game a little bit later on. But for right now, guys, peace.